Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this morning mountain weather update. Here's what I'm seeing here this morning. 4 different storm systems lined up for the West Coast. Primarily, the trajectory takes them through California. And I do have snow for the higher elevations of the Sierra. For example, Mount Shasta this afternoon, tonight, tomorrow morning, above 10,000 feet, could see 10 to 20 inches of snow. So it's definitely, this is a mild Pacific flow and it's pushing that rain-snow line up fairly high in a lot of places. All right, now still looking at a pattern shift potentially after 1.5. Before 1.5, there's very little moisture survival beyond California. It just doesn't make it into Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Colorado, Montana before 1.5. They're very small, light snow amounts before that. Now after, we could see a pattern shift that would bring down colder air, and I'll show you how that looks today with the jet pattern coming up. In the Northeast, you've got some light to moderate snow coming on 12:30 and again on 1.4. And I've got the latest numbers for that coming up in just a few. Let me show you the latest water vapor so you can see at least 2 of the 4 storm systems lined up right here with an active Pacific flow. And again, that's just blowing in a lot of warm air across the west right now. There's not much involvement with the cold air out of Canada. It's pretty much bottled up at this point. But like I was saying, after about 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, we start to see some of that rotate down with a large trough in the atmosphere. So that would be something to look forward to as far as getting finally some colder air into the lower 48. Let me just show you what the forecast radar and satellite is. So that's going to be the situation by this afternoon. You can see that storm system hitting the west coast. And again, primarily the trajectory with the heaviest precip will come through California. So watch what happens. Overnight and tomorrow morning, there's your snow through Tahoe up to Shasta and eventually down to Mammoth too. You can see right there as it kind of feeds through during the day on 12:30. And a little bit of that snow makes it into Colorado on New Year's Eve. You can see just a little band of snow there setting up over the western slope in I-70. Could see 1 inch, maybe 2 inches of accumulation. Nothing major. This is mainly kind of just like warm frontal type of snow production in Colorado. So let's move forward. Here we are on New Year's morning. A little bit of snow coming out of California, very light. A couple of flurries in Colorado. And then that moves away. Again, there's just nothing organized. There's very little moisture survival past that wall, which is the west coast right now. That's the next storm coming in on 1.3 with some snow for Tahoe, Mammoth, and Shasta again. And that area of low pressure would move eventually into the Intermountain and begin to drop south, even further south. All right, let me talk about the jet pattern here. So this is 1.6. Let's just track the cold air. You can see this trough, and this represents actually a larger trough in the atmosphere and cold air coming south if you were to look at it in the middle of the atmosphere. And so this is just the leading edge of what that pattern change could be. That's 1.6. Here's 1.7. You can see that trough now with jet support moving through Utah, Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado. So drop south and then it begins to move east on 1.7 with a lot of jet wind. All right, as far as snowfall amounts, through 12/31, New Year's Eve, not a lot of accumulation. Again, in California, there will be accumulation, but you've got to be higher up. Otherwise, you're going to get these lower numbers. In Colorado, maybe 1 inch again with that wave coming through on New Year's Eve, that warm frontal wave. Second period is more active. This is when we start to pull in colder air and generate a little bit more snow production. You can see California with that storm trajectory coming through there in those 3 or 4 different areas of low pressure. We should be able to crank out some decent snow in the second period in California. And eventually, as that low, and this only goes through 1.7. If we were to look at 1.8, there may be more snow in Colorado and New Mexico and Utah as well. But this just gets us through 1.7. At least there's something here with colder air and a pattern change. So up in the Northeast, my final stop here. Again, a couple of shots of some light to moderate snow should get us to these numbers by 1.7. Nothing major at this point, but anywhere from 2 to, 6 inches for most places. A little bit heavier on Mount Washington, of course, but that'll run us again through 1.7. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this morning mountain weather update. Always appreciate it, and take care.